Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Broonzy, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horses.
Bang! Hot dog!
Yeah.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
Oh, Josh White was a natural man. Held a plug nickel in the palm of his hand. He raised it up like a glass to his eye. And what he saw through the nickel made the natural man cry. Lord, 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 this morning made a natural man cry. Then through the nickel, a vision arose. He saw an actor in the jungle with a bone in his nose. He saw a maid in an apron with a Hollywood grin. He heard a singer at the back door slamming again. Lord, 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 he heard the back door slamming again. High upon a mountain sat the Lord and the natural man. Oh, Josh White got the gift of song, but he never saw the promised land. He never saw the promised land. So Josh White laid the nickel down. He put his hands in his pockets and he strolled into town. He looked to the left and over to the right, but he couldn't find the place to spend his money that night. Lord, 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 he sure want to spend some money tonight. Well, he ran to the hotel, dollar in hand, but they wouldn't take $1 from no colored man. He said, it's getting mighty late, mister, where can I go? He said, play me a tune, let you sleep on the floor. Lord, Lord, and Lord, Josh White lying asleep on the floor. High up on a mountain sat the Lord and the natural man. Whoa, Josh White got the gift of song, but he never saw the promised land. Oh, he never saw the promised land. Now way up yonder where the angels are found, all that blood from his fingers stained the heavenly ground. There ain't nothing to do but to do what you do. Do it till they roll a stone over you. Lord, 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 don't let them roll a stone over you. High up on a mountain sat the Lord and the natural man. Oh, Josh White got the gift of song, but he never saw the promised land. High up on a mountain, I heard a cold black angel sing. And I bet a plug nickel if he came back tomorrow, it wouldn't change a doggone thing. Lord, it wouldn't change a doggone thing. Yeah, he was a natural man. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
The show is Horses Sing None of It. My name is Ralph Litwin. Welcome to the show, Jack Williams.
Thanks for having me.
Legendary
Legendary.
songwriter, guitar picking man, and traveling troubadour.
Well, I don't know about the legendary.
That's what I heard
Where'd you hear? Where'd you hear that?
on your website.
Well, then somebody else must have said it and we quoted it, I guess.
So, you hail from the South.
I hail from South. Hardcore.
Military brat.
Yeah. Too bad about that.
Looks like you're ready to sing another song.
I was just getting ready, so
You're
that
getting ready.
yeah, I have to get the doodling factor ready here. I do this all the time, so you can just talk away. 'Cause
Okay. So, what led you into your life of troubadouring and traveling and guitar picking? How'd you get hooked?
I must have paid attention when I was 2 and 3 years old, because I remember all the music from that era. I remember it all, and when I was 4, my mother put a ukulele in my hands, because she was an Arthur Godfrey fan, you know, you remember?
Sure I do. I was an Arthur Godfrey fan too.
So everybody had ukuleles back then, you know, and it was a toy, I suppose, but I played it, and, you know, within a few days, I understood chord progressions, and I knew how things went. I just had a knack for it, and it was downhill from there.
Right. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So that song about Josh White, how much of that is your imagination and how much of it is based on true story?
And it's 100% imagination based on love.
All right.
I used to listen to him in the 60s. I was taken by his music, and I was taken by his lifestyle. And he was a black man working a white system in the worst years possible, and yet he persevered. He was a pop player, a cabaret style player, and the folkies thought he was just way too pop, and the pop people thought he was just way too folky. You know, so he crossed a lot of borders, and I just liked the way he did what he did, and it affected a lot of the. Anytime I play anything that feels like that, I think of Josh White. You know, so that song just came about because one day I just played a progression that felt like something he might have done, and the idea that Josh White was a natural man came to mind, and the rest of it is just made up as I went along.
Good one.
Oh, I like it.
Want to give us another one?
Sure. Yeah. Boys, you tell your stories well. It seems you must have tasted hell. Too well I know that bitter taste. For where it burns, love has no place. I met a common coward's end. Curse my will, it would not bend. I couldn't face a truth so pure that shone within those eyes of yours. Yesterday I secretly watched her laughing free of me. That heedless whim revived the tears, and now again the dream appears. And in that dream so real she stands, astounding eyes and subtle hands. Once upon a summertime, the dream was real and she was mine. Spring and summer sailing past, autumn too is gone at last. Truth is only truth I find on either side of the winter line. If you find your way by star or prayer, send one to me if you've one to spare. One kindly star to shed some light, and one prayer to conquer fear of night. Hey boys, I may be too far gone, flag a train to take me home. Send me back through seas of time. Send me across that winter line. Let's drink up, boys, the hour is late. It's too late for love and no need for hate. Don't crave eternal summertime, and you can't outrun the winter line. And boys, I may be too far gone, flag a train to take me home. Send me back through seas of time. Send me back across that winter line. Spring and summer sailing past, autumn too is gone at last. Truth is only truth I find on either side of the winter line. Thanks.
That's the title song of the CD, Across the Winter Line.
Yes, it is.
Jack Williams, that has been burning up the CD player in our house and in my wife's vehicle.
Yeah, so I heard she swiped it from you.
Yeah. I had to beg to get it back so I could show it off on TV.
Well, we'll get you another one, okay?
And information about that recording and others, and I guess your itinerary and
That's right.
mailing list can be found at www.jackwilliams.com.
And you can find all kinds of things there, like other lies, like the, what is not correct? Is that? Jack Williams Music.
Oh, jackwilliamsmusic.com, my error.
Who am I if you leave out the music?
I don't know, but people won't find it if they don't type
That's right.
that music in.
Yeah, a lot of Jack Williamses around, you know, so I was surprised that I was able to get one to actually put my name in that.
Are there other Jack Williams that are musicians?
Yes.
No kidding.
There was one that played with Doc Watson for years. And there's might have been the bass player, I don't know. There's a guy who played with Jesse Winchester. I saw his name on there. I get emails from people who say, "Are you the same?" You know, no. And if you, I find out who the other Jack Williams has played with and what they did by going and doing a search on Jack Williams. And you'll find me, and I'm listed playing with all these wonderful people I never met. You know, there's some pleasure in that too.
Time for the Jack Williams Music Society.
Yeah, yeah. There's a famous DJ up in Boston, and he's infamous actually. And I understand when I came to town, people were, the first time I went up there, people were saying, you know, you're gonna have a hard time up here because people really don't like this guy. So here I am trying to make it on the radio there, and being called the name on the radio that people didn't like. But there's also the guy in Fort Worth that sells cars, so.
One makes up for the other.
Absolutely.
What else you got for us?
Oh, a few thousand songs? Where you want me to start? I was thinking about singing something about a song about the South that I waited a little too long to write. Like you said, I was in the Army, and I was not in the Army. I might as well have been. They ought to give us Army kids something. You know, 18 years of service, being an Army kid, we ought to get some kind of credit. Well, I just traveled and traveled with my dad for all those years, and made the most of it, I guess. And there's an arrogance that goes along with being an Army brat.
Yes.
The arrogance is that I've been places that my friends back home haven't been. You know, you go home, Pleasant Hill, South Carolina, you know, population 200, and the other little town down the way, and you hear people whispering, you know, and saying, Jackie's been to Panama. You know, and, well, yes, I have. You know, when you're 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11 years old, you're kind of proud that you got something over on your buddies. You know, you've been places, and never realized quite what a, you know, awful thing that was, that to lord it over your friends because you've been places. And see, that sort of arrogance stays with you all the way up into your 40s and 50s, and so you spend the rest of your life trying to undo being an Army brat. So my mom got sick in 1979. She was about to die, and we thought she might be. And I came home, came off the road. I'd been on the road since '58, basically, and here I was back in South Carolina with her, trying to help her get through her last years. And when she died in '81, I found out that not only had we had a wonderful 2.5 years together, but even though they were her last, I'd rediscovered my home state. And so the training of the Army brat went on, you know. And I ended up moving there, living there for 21 years, going back to the place that I always thought I'd never be. So it just took a little while to write this song, and I'm sorry I waited so long. This is my body, red southern clay. The river's my blood and my soul's highway. I bow to the weather, misfortune and time, and rejoice in the tangles of wild muscadine. The lakes are my eyes, awake in the fields. My wrinkles are tracks of old wagon wheels, watching the speed of the peregrine sky. Clouds and eternity sailing on high. Pines and the oak trees, these are my hands. My feet are the roots where my heritage stands. I call for the seasons, sing for the storm, praising the sunshine, keeping me warm. My dreams are the echoes of grandfather's days. Our voices resound like Sea Island waves, and careless as summer, I welcome the rain and flow to the ocean through satisfied veins. The tales of our children, the Scuppernong sings. and the love of our mothers and swallowtail wings, the pain of our fathers lies in the hills, torn from the land to never be still. And this is my body, red southern clay, the river's my blood, and my soul's highway. This is my body, red southern clay, the river's my blood, and my soul's highway.
Right. Very nice. So other than Josh White and Arthur Godfrey, anybody you consider to be an influence or somebody that you really enjoyed listening to as a...
Oh, absolutely. Hundreds of people. But influences, that's another thing. I wasn't influenced very much by guitar players. I was never real fond of guitar music, and still am not. Listening to instrumental guitar music, I love to do it. Now, that's a great pleasure, just to sit around but I wish it was the cello, you know. If I'd been given this much ability on an instrument, I'd like to play in a string quartet or something. So I'd say it doesn't seem like what I write and what I play, I would be that influenced by people like Brahms, but I was. And the whole idea of how melody flows and how bass lines move and how other chords can come into play and how you choose the notes to play them, that all came from classical listening. And then there were the jazz people. I was a trumpet player. 1959, I had a band that doubled as a jazz group and a rock and roll band. You know, that's how you work, you know. We were playing beatnik coffee houses in Seattle in 59, 60, on trumpet mostly. And we'd go play a sock hop the next day, or the NCO club at the Army base and play electric guitar. And I liked I was trying to be a beatnik back then. So jazz was a big deal, and I listened to a lot of Dixieland and some modern at the time. I loved Louis Armstrong. I loved the spirit of Dixieland, ragtime music. Just, you know, a lot of my music, I think, to me, that's the spirit of ragtime to me. That, not the real Scott Joplin type, but the type you probably don't hear because it was behind closed doors, you know. That and people like Johnny Mercer, pop tunes of that day, and things that just captured my imagination, whatever it happened to be. It could be like the first thing I ever heard that reeked of rock and roll was in the 40s was a hit song by the Dorsey brothers, or one of the Dorseys, Boogie Woogie, that's the name of it. Had a piano thing and a trombone thing in it. Boy, I just listened to that. That just made a career happen, you know. If you have an ear for music and something like that hits you, there's just no place to go but at it. So my influences didn't include the guitar players. I don't know much about the modern pickers who play. I know that a lot of my gigs I play, people are watching my hands, you know, and I said, "You like that song?" No, there wasn't much action in it. You know, people want my hand action. I used to be disappointed in this, and I realized, well, shoot, man, I've got something for everybody. You know, so it's an interesting position to be in, to be given a lot of talent on one instrument, and yet that's not your favorite instrument. That's a rather oddball thing.
Curious and curiouser.
But this is the perfect thing to write songs.
Oh yeah.
Mobile, go stand in the park, sit in here and play for people. It's, you know, if I brought my Kawai Studio Grand piano with me on my back, you know, it'd be a little more difficult.
Well, if we stop you from talking, we got time for another song, and maybe two.
Okay, quick. Song about my mother. Mother's Day just passed. I know this doesn't sound like a mother song. Doesn't have the mother chords like this, you know. Well, my mother loved rock and roll, and she loved that, some of that frivolous 40s stuff, you know. It's like, hey, nonny ding dong, a lang, a lang, lang, boom. You know, that kind of goofy stuff, and she loved it, and I did too. So I put all of that in this song. Early Sunday morning, stretching and yawning, shaking off the night before. Somewhere in the dwelling, something mighty good is smelling. There's a racket on the kitchen floor. Papa's chopping wood and the fire's burning good, and a kettle's bubbling on the eye. And there's a ham in the oven, Mama's stirring something, son. Touch it and I'll tell you how.